Good evening, everybody. We're going to be looking at the market today of the ES, Thursday, October 6th, 2022. We'll see how today played out. Uh, Kind of a tricky one, to say the least. Very tricky one. Very, very tricky. No complete decision in either direction as we chopped a lot of the day. As you can see right in here, we got a whole lot of chop. Not too fond of it. Not too fun. Not easy to trade at all. Um, Not easy at all to trade. I didn't make a whole lot on the day between the two accounts. I made like 3 points on one, lost two on the other. I only took a total of like 4 trades today, I believe. Not a whole lot. And I probably shouldn't have even traded it, to be honest, as there wasn't really any clear direction. Like it's kind of difficult to see where the market wants to go when there's no true MGI or market generated information to kind of help you lean on to give you a direction on which way this market wants to go. But yesterday, I was talking about this 3,800 level. This 3,800 level was big, big time. Talking about how if we couldn't find acceptance over it, we would remain in balance. Obviously today, that's what we did. Today's high is only 38.1150. We got above that 3,800 level, but only for a brief second, and then we rotated back down to the low. And then we never seen the bottom of the balance. We got close to the balance high, not quite to the balance low. So we remain in balance. Just a chop, kind of a inside day, and value unchanged, as this market had no idea where it wanted to go. Overnight session over here on my right hand side here. Overnight session, as you can see, we got above that 3,800 level. We traded as high as 38.19. Traded just as high as that previous day's high, basically. Traded within that range. Did not find acceptance up there, and then we rolled over before we came into the opening this morning. So today on the open, right here where this red line is, today on the open, we opened up inside the previous day's value and range, as overnight explored price above, but could not find acceptance above that 3,800 level. And we sold off into the real-time trading hours. We sold off and opened right above where change took place yesterday. If you look right here, change took place above A and F's high, A period and F period's high. And then where G broke through, and we never came back and seen it later in that evening. Well, today we pretty much traded right above that. We had a lot of volume in that area. That's where our 10 wide POC was. 10 wide point of control, almost a perfect POC. Almost 13 out of 13 time frames traded there, but we couldn't quite do it, as late in the day we rolled over. And I'll explain that here in a minute. It was a very interesting day, to say the least. A period, once we open, we go ahead and zoom in here. A period, once we open, we kind of just drove straight up, right? We drove straight up. We opened right above that area where change took place. A's low got just like a few ticks above, and then turned and reversed back higher. We wanted to go and test the day's high, couldn't quite get it. We got 38.11. Previous day's high was 38.20. We got within a 10 points, and then decided, nope, let's slap these buyers in the face and roll over. I believe it was more of an inventory adjustment, as the overnight kind of shorted into the opening, and then they probably covered at the open, and that helped drive price up. By anybody that was buying up here thinking we were going to take out the day's high got slapped in the face, because B period opened up and then drove straight down. We broke below that area where change took place yesterday and dipped our toe into it. B closed near its lows, and then we had single prints from A's low to B's high, and then C period took out the initial balance low. So initial balance is A's high to B's low. The first two time frames of the day sets the initial balance. And then we broke that. And then cannot speak. English is hard. We didn't get much extension from it. And then that kind of told you, hey, maybe we just go fill these single prints. And sure enough, we did. We got back above the opening. And then after that, the rest of the day, we did nothing but chop all day long. We chopped going back and forth through the opening as indecision kind of took place. Lack of conviction for these traders took place. We traded between value high and value low inside of yesterday's range. Poorest of our risk reward, and not a whole lot, just a lot of back and forth choppy trading. We got 10 wide here at F's high at 78. So we'll go ahead and put this 10 wide and mark it. So that'll be an upside destination for tomorrow for us. We'll go ahead and mark that bad boy down. And then I'm gonna break down some of my trades that I took. There were a few that weren't really worth it. Poor risk reward and I shouldn't have traded, to say the least. Let's look here. 10 wide pock, 6th. I'll mark that. And I'll mark anything that's 8 or above, 9 or above. So it kind of means a lot. There's a lot of happy business going on in this area. And every time we got above, we rotated down to and through it. And then every time we got a below, we rotated up and through it. You can call G an afternoon rally high. So you got A period, B period, C, D, E, F, and G. We took out F's high, rotated up higher, and then never came back to see it. So you can call that an afternoon rally high. It's not a technical one. Technical would be when you have set of single prints above as a trend day, and then you would have an afternoon rally high as F period is the first afternoon time frame. Let's call this afternoon rally high 2, 6. But as you can see, after we sold off in G period, we kind of never came back to test that high. As most of the time we were breaking new high, broke low, broke lower. Just realized this was a reversal bar. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, late in the day, we rolled over. We did not get our perfect pot. So I'm gonna explain some of my trade ideas that I had. Only took a few trades in H. I won't push this down because you got G, here's H, here's I. So I was taking trades against G's low to get back to the POC. So each time we rotated and pushed lower because G opened up here. Each time we rotated lower, I took a trade against G's low, which worked out. So I was getting long roughly 71s, 72s, and was making all right on them. Kind of scratched on a few. I didn't make a whole lot. The better trade that I had today was actually an F period on this pullback. I wanted to get long near value low, and I did. I got long 70 or not 70, 64.50, I believe, and had my offer in at 72 to get back up to the POC, which was at A's low at the time. I just kind of wanted to front run it. Just in case we popped up and didn't quite get to back to POC, and maybe that would have been a nuance and we were rolled back over and tested the lows, but that never happened as we did go back to that POC area. The business was happy. Took a short in J period as we took out an interesting low because as you can see in G, H, and an I mean, it doesn't get more mechanical than that. Each low right here was 37, 71, 25. Each one of these lows. So you had some stops building up there, and I initially had taken a long in J period against that. And I had to stop a few points below just in case we did break it. And I didn't want to, get my face ripped off down to the lows. But I thought it was a good risk reward in J to kind of pull back down to it, take a long against it, and then rotate back up to the POC area. Uh, and I could have gotten out for like a 2 point game before we rolled over, but we finally broke through and I got stopped out of my position. And then at that point, I thought, all right, maybe we get some extension to the downside. So I got short late in Jay's time frame. After the second 15 minute, I did get short because I figured that was kind of an interesting area where we had some shut off, and then all of a sudden we have enough supply to kind of break through it. So I got short. I believe it was 69.50 and 68.25. And we did push down, and I could have gotten out for a couple point gain, but I held in and wanted to kind of see if we would continue to push lower, which we never did, and we ended up rotating back up towards the 70s and 72 area. And I was kind of just watching it, and something I just didn't feel comfortable in the trade. Uh, and then K period was kind of coming into play. The next time frame was coming up, and I was like, well, maybe we do end up rotating back up to POC. Kind of had that in my head, but I did hold on to the trade for a few more minutes. We got into K period. I still had my short. We're trading right around where I was short at 68.25, 68.50, and 69, around that area. And I was still holding in, had the idea, was even typing in the chat that, uh, maybe it's a good possibility that we don't go and get a perfect 13 for 13 wide pot, and we go and test today's low. But we pushed up, we got above 72, which was my out. My stop was there. I didn't want to hold anything over 72 because I felt like if we got back over the 71.25 area, you would have some shorts that wanted to get out and we'd rotate back up to that puck. So once we popped 72, I got out of my trade for a loss. At the time I was down, I think I was down 17 points or something, because that nice little pop there. And it hurt a little bit because obviously my trade idea was right. We never did get back to the puck to get 11 wide and keep that perfect wide puck going. And we did end up rotating back to the lows. And yeah, I should have just trusted myself and trusted my instinct on that one, and I kind of got burned. However, I was able to capitalize once we got down to the low here, and we broke the low and went down. I actually faded the new low, faded the extreme here, got long at 52.50, a 3 lot, and had the idea that maybe because of what we've done all day, we chopped around, built this wide pock up here, and volume was kind of weak. There wasn't a whole lot of volume on the push down. And they didn't have any interest in going trend earlier in the day in B period when C filled the single prints. Why would we go and do that now? So with that being in mind, I kind of felt I was comfortable here fading the extreme set at 52.50 where I got that long 2 points above. I waited for the rotation back above that low and got long, and then I exited at 58 because I just wanted to get popped back inside the day's range. So it was a nice couple point gain. Took off some of that 17 point. I think I closed down on the day with that account 2 points, which isn't bad considering I was down 17 points. I'll take a 2 point loss any day, especially when you're chopping like this. L period opened up. You could have taken a long down here again. I stepped away from the computer at the time because I was just getting mentally exhausted, just kind of watching this crap all day long. And then end period didn't do much either, as we just kind of stayed down here in this lower end of things. Tomorrow we got some economic data coming out. We got jobs numbers coming out tomorrow. So maybe that will throw a wrench in everything and kind of make us break out of balance one way or the other. Um, I do believe whenever we do come out of this balance, it's going to be pretty big move. But I'm not sure which way. I don't want to say we have uh, a more probability of going either way. It's kind of a coin toss at this point. I'm not sure. We have a lot of short positions that are below us that can hold up the market if we do decide to pull back. And then we have magnets above. So it could be either or. So tomorrow, once that economic data comes out, we'll have to see which way the market wants to go, and then we'll just monitor for continuation if we do decide to break out of the balance. If not, then we'll remain in balance. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in today's destinations for upside levels. We'll put in the high day. Our low day. And man, well, that was a good long opportunity. I'm happy I took that. Happy I stuck it out, even though I took a loss on my initial short. And man, that was a good short, but happy I stuck it out and, wanted to attempt the long there. Low day. I can't type. All right. So now for destinations, for our upside destinations, we have today's 10Y pot at 37.78 at F's high. We have our afternoon rally high, 37.8750. Our high day at 38.1150, 38.20. Above that, our price probe from the September 21st at 38.3275, and then that 12Y pot at 38.9150. Downside, we have 37.5075. Today's a low day. Below that, 37.34, where our gap starts. Low day from the 5th of October. And then our gap fill at 37.1175. So whichever way this market decides to bust out of balance tomorrow, because as you can see, if I were to take off this, we're in just one big balance zone, this whole area. Well, I guess it doesn't want to work for me, but this whole area is one big balance zone. And once we come out, it's going to be a pretty big move. You got 3 days of balance. Or I should say 2 days, 2 days of balance. A lot of volume being built up in here as we've had 2 pretty wide pocs back to back, kind of building up. So if we burst to the upside, you'll want to monitor it for continuation and acceptance above the 3800 level. And if we do find acceptance, I do believe we'll rotate back up to 38.91, 50, 12 wide poc. If we break out to the downside, I do believe 100% if we break out to the downside, we will go fill this gap. There's no doubt in my mind. If we break down, we're going to go fill this gap. I'm gonna be straight up honest. I'm kind of short biased, so I'm leaning a little bit more towards filling this gap. I think we fill the gap before we go and get this 12 wide pot. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. The market will tell us what's going to happen tomorrow. But just seeing that we couldn't find acceptance over 3,800, 1, 2, 3 days in a row. Kind of something smelling fishy here. We're getting we're getting wide pocs up here. Somebody's dishing something out there I want. So I think we'll rotate lower. Look at our daily chart real quick on the SPY. "21-day moving average for the SPY, or the 20-day moving average, is at 379.31. Today's high was 378.72, so just short of it. So maybe that was our test of it. and we're going to rotate back down to the lows. Who knows? Let's check out what our what we look like on the ES here. ES, we look to have touched it today. High today was 38.1950. Our 20-day moving average on the ES was 38.19. We're going to call it 38.20 because it's at 38.1996. So we'll call it 20. I think we test it and we may have found some rejection. We'll see if we come out to the downside here and test the 9 EMA down here at 37.07, which I do think is a good possibility, especially we break out of this balance to the downside and fill the gap. We should go and test that. If I'm not mistaken, that will coincide with the gap fill. Yep, gap fills right there at 37.11. 07 is in this upper range. Single print fill is below that. So we'll see. We'll see what the market does for us tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to capitalize a little bit better and trade this a little bit better, as maybe we'll have some better MGI to lean on. Market generation information should give me something to lean on. Other than that, I hope you all have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out of here.